Hi there, I'm Hajnalka from Earthster, Head of Account Management. And today you're watching at the moment, whether you're watching it live or later on a recording, a webinar session where I'm showing you how to use Earthster the best way possible. So best practices. And in addition, I'm gonna be showing you the latest feature updates. So that's always the main topic of these webinars. They happen more or less once a month. And as always, I'm asking you to participate in the live session by adding any questions you might have in the LinkedIn event itself. And I answer as well as I can, whether during the event or afterwards. So, if you're the first time ever joining us, so what is Earthster? Earthster is an LCA tool that's browser based, and it's designed for collaboration and for you to be able to do LCAs at scale the least, how to say it, the least effortless way. So in a way that's it's super simple and that you enjoy doing it. And let me show you something. So let's get started. Let me see, there is no comments so far. And let me share you my screen. Here is how Earthster looks like when you already have your own profile and an associated organization that you have access to. And as a user, Earthster user, you can have many different organizations. So for example, you have your company account and you might have a student account in a university, for example, the Harvard Extension School, that they are doing courses with Earthster. And if you have multiple, I want to show this because many of our users are struggling with it. You go to My Organizations and there you see a list of all the organizations that you have access to. And you switch it easily by clicking switch and it logs you into the organization that you want to be working on, for example, in the educational one. But today we have an interesting session because we have cool new features. So today's demo is going to be more around the new generator feature. And that feature is only available for a corporate plan users. Let me show you actually the pricing page. Here we have at the moment 3 options to choose from. And of course, the corporate plan is in a way that you can tailor it to your needs and make it as big or as small as you need it. And the best way to get in touch is go to earthster.org and book a demo with Simo, and he can help you forward. And let me see. So our website is earthster.org. There you'll find more information about our tool. And so just so that you know it, that for this, you need a corporate license because it's one of our most advanced scaling features. So it's available only in that one. So I'm going to show you how to use the generator to create LCA models straight away from a bill of material file. Regardless on in what format it is, it takes your information and creates for you all the inputs needed. To do that, I'm going to use my previous examples of the Lego blocks and figures, and we're going to create a box. Similar style as in previous sessions, but today with the generator. Then I'm going to show you also how you can now add parameter options with special characters. That's something that many of you have been waiting for, and it's awesome. I'll show you that. Then we have a special announcement also that now we have enabled single sign-on SSO for corporate plans. So if you have a need for that, just let me know. Actually, you can send an email to me at hajni@earthster.org, and then we can get you started with it. But I'll demo it how it looks when you actually have it enabled and log in. And Last thing that I will want to show you is how to use our new templates. And if we have time, I'll demo our new educational assignment features that's sponsored by MIT. And if we don't have a time for that, then probably I'll organize a separate webinar only dedicating for the educational feature. So let's get started. Now you know more or less what's going to happen, and I can see that I have already a comment. Exactly. So in the chat, you'll find Anastasia, who can also help answer the questions, and she can guide you if you need any help. Okay, so let me see. The first thing, let's go to the generator. Even though you're seeing a workspace dedicated for this webinar, I'm going to use the previous workspaces. And one important thing about workspaces is that they are your way of structuring your environmental impact data. So, for example, you could create workspaces based on your teams, like an R&D group, the eco design gang, or based on product groups that makes sense for you. And each of these workspaces have their own set of users. As I mentioned, that Earthster for collaboration, you're able to add more people to be part of your organization. And that depends on how many seats you have available, how many you have taken. And for example, in the corporate one, you have unlimited users, which is really practical to be able to have your LCA experts working on your models and even include your sales team who are able to run scenarios, for example, based on your models that you have created. They don't need to know LCA. The only thing they need to know is how to click a button, run scenario, and show it to your client live. So let's get started with the replicator. We are gonna today use two features to do LCAs at scale. So in this example, I'm using Lego blocks. And think of it as bits and pieces that will build up a bigger product. These could be different components. If you have a big electrical machine with all the different pieces, packaging, it doesn't matter. It's more about that the demo is representing things that might have many components. And Earthster is the way you model in Earthster is fully flexible. So it's up to you if you want to do a product LCA or an organizational LCA, for example, following the greenhouse gas protocol scope 1, 2, and 3 models or categories method. Okay, so if you've seen my previous sessions, you know how to create cycles with the replicator. The replicator takes an existing cycle that you have, creates a copy with hashtags that you have defined that you want to be updating. Look, so this is a model representing Lego blocks, so tiny little Lego blocks that bends to, like, I have parameterized it in a way that I can change the color of the piece and the size of the block. This uses my own, some of the inputs are my own datasets, and some of them come straight away, for example, from EcoInvent dataset. So you can mix and match in your own cycles your data sources. Here, when you have a cycle, you can see data sources and you see where is your information coming from. Now, the replicator. Look, I have my file already created, and this information is done with the help of Google Gemini, so the values are probably not correct, but it's more or less similar. And this is the file for the generator that represents each of these rows will be a new cycle. So I'm creating an individual model for each tiny Lego block that I want to do. And the hashtag ABS represents the weight of the block. Look in here. So it's a really simple model. Here, how much injection molded ABS I have in here. And then the other one was the color. And we are gonna create these, replicate this based on this template that I have already created. And it's super simple. So the first thing is you have it in an Excel, Google spreadsheet, any type of table. You download your information either as a CSV file or as an XLSX type of file. And I like using the comma separated tabs. I have downloaded it. Go back to Earthster, click on settings, and this is only visible for you if you have the corporate plan. Click replicate in bulk, then you take the file, then here we drag it in there, click upload and replicate. Here you can see that it's already started doing the, I clicked wrong, so it's being already processed. If we click on the Earthster logo, it takes you always back to the workspace. And look, we are starting to have a huge amount of cycles, and I think it's already done all of them. Let me see if I reload the page. Exactly 34 cycles done. And how many seconds it took me? Maybe 3, if even that. And if we look into the cycles, for example, let's see the block, the 2 times 8 piece has taken the right amount of plastic, and it has taken the color, the right color, with the right proportions. So this is the replicator. This you have seen many times, and it's super powerful when you have a model, you have a product that you have many variations, slight tiny changes. For example, different type of packaging. You could even have layered packaging, that in this one we have 2mm aluminum foil, in this one we have only 1mm. All those you can have a so-called master cycle that you replicate and create variations. And with the same file, with this file, you're able to even update them. The option is called update in batch. Does the same thing, finds the cycle name, updates those values, and ta-da, you can keep your cycles up to date if there's any changes. But now, I wanted to show this so that you know how the replicator works when you have already existing cycles that you want to map to use your own components. Kind of like now I created a component catalog that we will be using to create an LCA model for having the Lego blocks in a box that I could be selling, that you can buy. So these are the cycles existing. And now the generator. Let me show you how that file works. This is how it looked last time when I was demoing it. It has evolved since then. It takes more information. And now I have another version here. So this is a pretend bill of materials. But the best thing with this feature is that you take your bill of materials out of your ERP system, export it in a Excel or CSV file, and basically almost with that you can upload into Earthster. One little things to keep in mind is that the replicator, each row represented a cycle. These represent an input to your cycle. Look, here I'm specifying cycle name. You could call it product name, anything for you that makes sense that you are going to create a cycle out with input. So all this here is going to be inputs to one cycle called Minecraft box. I have here different levels, different depth for my information. So for example, imagine you have a big component that has many inputs. This is the same thing. I have here grouped together the red blocks, and under them, all these are going to be different inputs. I have specified the amounts, the unit of what the component is, then geography and description, and I have even specified in this case the scale unit of the cycle, which means that, look, I'll show you once I'm done. Additional information, the weight information about the blocks, how much it's weight, material, and all these things that you would have in your bill of material. And let's see Let's see what happens when I import this into Earthster. You can see that there's going to be a Minecraft box, basic box, and even a basic box 2 with a bit different information. So again, the same thing. We are going to export the file. We take the CSV, go to Earthster, and then I'm going to change workspace because I want to create it in Lego boxes. Now I don't need a template file anymore. Now what I do is I'm going to take that file and create the cycles. Again, clicking the button next to, there's the button create new cycle. You click next to it on the drop down menu and this appears. Generate cycles from file. And since I deleted all my previous versions, the system is going to consider this as doing it the first time. So we will have to do what we call the mappings of the cycles. This means that, for example, if in your bill of material, it says steel, electricity, plastic, and it has certain naming for it, look, what you'll do is map all those things to your cycles. And as you can see, the system is telling you what is it about to do. So I just uploaded the file and it's telling me that 3 cycles are going to be created as we expected. We're going to execute the plan and it started to do the 3 cycles for us. And let's see, this doesn't take too long. And if you're impatient, you're able to already go out. You can maybe able to see that there already the cycles are generated there. So you could navigate out of it. And it does not stop it. But let's see. Meanwhile, let's see, do I have any questions while we are waiting for the awesome generator to create our new cycles? And yeah, Anastasia is reminding me really well. So in case you're just joining in, you're watching Earthster's webinar about how to use Earthster and do LCAs at scale in an effortless way. And let's go here. Look, we went here, we have our new cycles created. So if we go in here, the Minecraft box will have the structure. As you see that now we added the depth. So everything here that's marked number 2 is included in the first row. And it follows logically. So just like how your bill of materials would be. Added all the inputs. If we go in here, we have all the bits and pieces and ta-da, we have a model. And look, basic box looks a bit different, did not have a structure. The data looks different. And this is one of the really awesome things in Earthster and also important for you to remember that depending how you add your data, you get different insights. Here, you see all the bits and pieces and it doesn't really tell you much. Maybe a tiny bit you get insights that, oh, clearly, the bigger the block, the more environmental impact it has. But now if we go back to the ones that we have divided the structure, now it suddenly gives you more insight that, oh, the yellow blocks have a bigger impact. Probably because there's more of them. That's the reason, but this is the concept. So you create this structure inside Earthster with bundles and custom processes. And when you're adding inputs to your model, you added bundles and custom processes you add from the drop-down menu. And when you add new datasets, you click add new. You get to the process search, which means you are seeing in front of you the search interface for the whole database. We have EcoInvent, USEIO, Axiobase, PEF, USLCI, and many related databases, and even some carbon footprint databases. We have many. And when you want to know more about it, the best source is you click help, go to documentation, and there you find more information. For example, LCA methodology and data. Here you find information about the databases and impact methods. And this is one of the ones that I wanted to show you today, ImpactWorld Plus. We have version 2.1 already available in Earthster. And to be able to view the results in ImpactWorld Plus, what you need to do, you have your model, you click. You need a full Echo license for this feature to be visible. Otherwise, you have access to the main 5 categories, which is recipe 2016 versions. Look, click Other. Then you choose an impact category, and here you, for example, choose ImpactWorld Plus damages version. Then you click, and let's see, what's the impact, for example, climate change. I'm curious of this one. You click View Impact. The system opens for you a new tab, and then seemingly we don't have any damages to ecosystem. Let's see. I clearly don't know what the ImpactWorld Plus measures. So maybe ozone layer depletion, but this is how you're checking your impact in another impact category. Then let's go back here. And also, not only that you can view the impacts, but you're able to export them. So when you go to export, with the custom impacts tree, you're able to choose any of the data impact methods that are available, and you can download your data. We have options as a PDF, Excel, CSV, and HTML that you can, for example, add to a Word document. Then, okay, so replicator and the generator. We have created in mere seconds 3 new cycles based on a bill of materials. This is the most scale you can go with any LCA tool, and it's when you learn to combine the scaling features. For example, I showed first I was doing it with the replicator, then the generator. You can also copy paste bits and pieces. You can really like give superpowers to your LCA modeling. It's really remarkable how easily you can add data from your existing sources. Then let me see. Exactly. So the generator is, and with the same generator file, let me go here. So we have here, if now anything would be changed, actually we can check. So if we want to create, actually, let's imagine, now I want to show how it would look like demo example. We are gonna add electricity because you didn't see the mapping. It's clear there's a system already. Consider that I have done that. 5, and then we put kilowatt hours. We put Europe. We don't add descriptions. Leave it like this. And then I'm gonna add some other inputs. Let's put PT. So we're gonna add some plastic, and then injection molding. We put 1 kilo. Also Europe. All these gonna be an injection molding, 1 kilo, like this. So imagine this is a plastic piece that you're now creating, and there's many other inputs. And since I just added to my existing file, it's gonna create for us a new model. And the cool thing with the description scale, all these end up in the notes section. Let me show you in the existing one. So if we go in here, there is information, not in the box 2, Minecraft box. Look. Green blocks, if I click here, in the information, it has added what I have specified, the weight, these things. It adds it automatically and takes it as that, okay, this is the information. And now let me show you how it works. If the description, like it could be called anything, doesn't have to be description, could be notes. The system detects that, okay, this is not our typical inputs, so you probably want to have it as either in the cycle notes that applies to the whole model here. It adds it here, as you can see. if it adds it here, if every single one of them is the same input like this one. And it adds the data in the description of the input if they're different. Let me show you. So for example, electricity needed to heat the room. Then PT, let's see, plastic, just like this. Scale unit, we're gonna put 1 kilo. We could just leave it how it is. Good. We don't add those things. Plastic, and this is plastic processing. Now, let's export this. And of course, I'm filling this out by hand. The idea with using the generator is that you export it from a system and then use that. So you don't need to fill out by hand. I'm just trying to show you how it works when you're adding those things. And look what's going to happen. We go back to the workspace. We're gonna say generate cycles from file. I'll take again the new version here. Upload and generate. And now it's telling me that 1 cycle will be created, 1 will be updated, and 2 will stay the same. And there's a big red warning that some mappings are missing. We don't have the electricity, the PAT, and all those that I have written now. And if you click here, read more, you see what will be needed to map. So the first time you're adding, you need to create the mappings. You click here, it goes to a new view, and the system is guessing. Just like when you're copy-pasting data without the identifier, it's trying to guess that, okay, what do you mean? Injection molding, Europe, it's actually guessed perfectly. Here, this is the data set. If you click in the info button, it shows which one it's suggesting for you to use. And it has chosen Eco Invent, latest version, injection molding. This is exactly what I'm looking for. It's like, perfect. So we accept, we confirm this mapping like this. And now that means that from this moment onwards, when I use my generator, anywhere it says injection molding, Europe version will take this particular data set to build my model. Look, for PET, not bad what it's suggesting, but I'm not sure if I like it. This is a waste management type. It's like, no, that's not what we want. We go click here to change. Then we take out the system remembers your last filters, so you can just clear all filters. And then PET, let's see, the easiest is, let's say, polyethylene production, for example, like this. Yeah. No, it's not even polyethylene PET, but let's see, I'm having a good PET. You can filter results. This is one of awesome features in Earthster. When you're searching for a dataset, you add a keyword or multiple one of them, multiple keywords. And for example, let's see, PET granulate, what we are looking for. And now it refined the search results. So now I have only 127 options. And now we're actually found the right type of, material. And you can use the genre tags that are unique to Earthster to filter, to help you filter. For example, previously you were seeing waste management types of datasets. We are looking for material type. And more information about the genres you find in the documentation. You can filter based on the unit of the dataset, geography, and the origin. And the origin refers to the database itself. And so if you want to see only Eco Invent, you can mark it that show only Eco Invent. And the same way, if I now would say that I don't want to see material products, I'm looking for other options, I would click here. I click on the minus, and then you start seeing other options, processing, waste management. But in this case, we actually do want to see it. And this one looks like a perfect data set for us. And when you don't know, the first step to do is click on the info. you read what the database provider has given about the dataset. So this is what it says, that it's a renaming activity, which means might not be the best dataset for us. Now let's see the second one. This one. Now this starts to look the right one. It says the product is the polyethylene terephthalate granulate amorphous. Here it says what it is, also renaming activity. So I don't like that either. And all this is coming from EcoInvent. So it's their namings, but what we do is help you find the right one. So you click here. Now you start to see more information. This part is really important when you're using EcoInvent datasets. That's basically the output of the data and might not be the same as the title, especially when you have cases of multiple byproducts from one activity and they are called the same. The title is the same, but the product is different. But now what I wanted to show you is how you can view it as a cycle. If you click here, it opens, you can explore what the dataset is like under the hood. So instead of just seeing, okay, interesting, tells me more or less something, you can view what the database provider has thought that it's relevant for representing that product. And here there's chemical factories, all sorts of things needed to create PET granulate. And the cool thing is that not only that you see the first layer, you can even explore further also in your own model and in the database that where is the impact really coming from. You click here and this part, when the Explorer appears, it means that it's fetching the dependent cycles and you can dig deeper and deeper and you're like, oh yes, this is the data set I want. Or that I recommend doing is that when you feel lost, that you're like, oh, I'm not sure how to model this, I can't find the right data set, look for examples. You might find gold inside the datasets that there is an input and you're like, oh, that's how they call that material in an industrial setting, because you might not know. So it's really, really useful and you can explore the data. But now we go back here because it's a new tab and then we say that this is the one we want and we click Add Process. Now it has switched the one that we are suggesting. So it's anytime in my generator it says PET, it's going to take this dataset. And electricity, it's actually suggesting US electricity baseline one. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is change it. It says electricity. Now it's already remembered that I wanted EcoInvent. And for example, medium voltage, Europe. Perfect. Same thing. First you check that it's the correct one. And then you click go to cycle. And that's it. Now we have our mappings. All these are mapped. The next thing is you click on the Earthster logo, you go out, and now you have to put the file again. So we mapped now. The system remembers. We go to generate cycles from file. I'll take the same file, upload again, like this, upload and generate. And it says one will be created, one will be updated. No warning anymore. It's happy. Execute plan. It's generating it. And then we're going to have a new cycle based on bill of material. Look, demo example, it's already here. And all our inputs, electricity, injection molding, PET. And if you click on it, you can see that this is the dataset it's using. So this is how you use Amazing Generator. There's even one other column that you can use that I have not added into this demo is query. So you are able to search for a different thing and add a different name, just like in copy-paste. Any questions? We spent a lot of time on these, and I would love if you have any questions, please add them in the chat, and then we can see. We can take your question. Okay, so next thing that I wanted to show is that now you can add special characters to options. Let me show you. I have here an old model that I just recreated in this account about a bicycle with parameters. Parameters are variables in your cycle. So just like a moment ago, I showed you how to use the replicator to create variations of your product, you can use parameters instead. And in this case, the way it's done is that there's bits and pieces that can vary. And that's what you need parameters for. It has already added a bunch of parameters. And these are used in calculations that adjust the model according to my formulas. And for example, frame material uses at the moment steel when you're viewing the cycle. And if I click here on 3, I can see where the actual variable name is being used in my model. So we can go here, aluminium, I click it, and then it opens. And this is the sign when an input has a formula. If I click on it, it opens the calculation module that you add formulas that what the system should follow when it's running for you the scenarios. And here I have specified that I have the frame material for the bike. It's aluminium that it's taking as for the calculation reasons, and I'm specifying multiplying it by 1.2. Now let's add a new one. Something with special characters. So we're going to add a new frame material. And the way, once you have it, what's important in parameters, you add the name, and the first row is what a human would talk like, how would you call the piece? The identifier is the code, the name for using it in the formulas. And that has more strict rules how to use it. And now this is used to be super strict that you could only use lowercase and no spaces and all those things. And now you can. Look, I'm gonna add, last time I was thinking carbon space. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Actually, if you want to add space, it was a good mistake from myself, you have to click shift space and then it's add the space. And look, carbon X12. And now I click enter. And now that's the name of my variable. My option is called carbon X12 with these letters. And I save it. We are going to add this into the model. So we go to the frame here. I'm going to copy an existing one of these. And because that's going to be, let's say, the aluminium. Normally, you would be adding other inputs, but I'm going to duplicate this. They're going to update the formula. We go in here. You have two options. Either click the equal sign or click from here, calculate. I myself love the shortcuts, so I always do it like this. Now we're going to take this out so that you see how to do it. Once you have an existing parameter, you can just click on it or type yourself. Look, this was the name. As when you hover on it, you see what is how you called it, and this is the formula version of it. So frame material, and these are all my new options or the options. And here's the new one. I click here, and now what I'm specifying is that the frame material is carbon X12, and then we could again say that to make it right, my model, this one is more lightweight. It's only 0.9 kilos, and then I save it. And look, now it says that still let me rename it. So this was the formula, the right one, exactly, carbon. We need to, because of course I duplicated, it duplicates everything with it. Carbon X12, the inputs are the same. And now that we have this, it still says 0. And there's a logical reason. Because we are using an option parameter and only one of them can be active at a time. The one that you're saying that, okay, the active one has a multiplier of 1 and all the others are 0. And if we go back to parameters, you see it here. that the active one is still. And you see this effect when you run a scenario. If you click here, you get to the scenario view, and this is the part that I mentioned in the beginning, that even your salespeople could use this in sales situations. You have built a complex model for them behind the scenes with all sorts of material alternatives, fine-tuned formulas, and what they see is a simple way of choosing that, okay, talking to the customer, let's see what happens if we use our cool new carbon fiber. What's the environmental impact of the model? And as you can see, the latest frame material didn't show up, and that's because I didn't issue a release. I need to have a new release for that to show up. But this is how it works. And then you change anything in the values, and as long as you actually have added the formula, it updates it. You can export this as an own scenario. You can save it as an own cycle, and even pin different versions, name them, and add them to comparisons. For example, we're pinning this, and then we can see in a comparison, how do they compare to each other? And then it calculates for you, shows it, and this is, as a minor warning at the moment, comparisons are sometimes slow, and when it feels too slow, just reload your website, reload your page, and then usually it fetches the data already. But now it doesn't want to show. So it's a proper demo effect. I'm showing you comparisons and you don't see what's in it. Okay. Any questions so far? I've showed you how to use the replicator, the generator, that you can add complex names for parameter options, which means also that it shows in the scenario view correctly. And then the next thing I want to show you is the SSO login. And for that, we are going to use our test environment. I'm going to close many of our other pages. I have too many open, like this. This is what we have, a test environment. So single sign-on is really similar feature to when you're able to log into different services with your Google account, except the only difference is that this is usually a corporate thing that IT teams set up to be able to manage the security aspects of you using Earthster. So they might, for example, set up that to log into Earthster, you need to add a code from a text message. It depends on the identity provider that you're using. And I have, for this demo, I have set up in our Google Workspace. I have set up all the credentials, and now you're going to see what happens as a user who has SSO login when you're using that. Look, I'm going to write here my email address. It already remembers. This is how you start in a normal way anyway. And normally, without the SSO, you would fill out your password, and I'm just click here, start. And ta-da! It goes to the SSO login. I click from here that I want my Earthster account, and that's it. This is an amazing thing we have just recently added. I'm proud of our developers. We did it super fast. And the best part of it is when you have a big organization and a corporate plan, users can sign up this simply. As long as you have defined who is allowed within your own organizations to sign up, they just come to Earthster, put in their email, and they have their own profile like this. No need to invite them separately. Really, really awesome. Any questions? This was a quick demo. Let me see. Yes, other things that I wanted to show. The templates. I go back here. For a long time already, when you created a new cycle, you had an option to start from a template. And we used to have mainly USEIO templates, so input-output database templates that allowed you to create cycles super quickly and play around with it. For example, let's see, mobile phone. This is a different search than the database. It does not search for you every single dataset. It just looks for the templates. And the USEIO data, like templates, there's around 440. And what happens is that you find a good one as, oh, I'm curious how it is. You click wireless communications. It previews, it shows you how the model would be, and you can create a cycle based on this information. Now, what I wanted to show you related to this, so this is fun for, like these templates are fun for playing around with data. Might not be that useful for doing a product LCA. Organizational LCAs maybe. But it's a fun way to play around with data. But now, the 3 new templates that will help you speed up doing your LCA work is we have a new ISO template. Look, you write ISO. This is called a template. Here you can see that this is done by us. There's information how to use the template. You can view it before you even start. But what you can do is you click here. Here you can see that selected template is going to be this. It looks empty, but the magic is in a different spot. ISO template demo. I'm creating the cycle. When you use a template, you have to specify that you are using for your own model, you're going to use what is the functional unit that you're using. And in this case, it's asking for a production amount. And in Earthster, you can have multiple. You can have production amounts and functional amounts. The important thing is to remember that they need to be equivalent to each other. So I would say one demo unit like this. The template is going to take as it is because I know that there's no datasets in it. Otherwise, if you would be using ones with the USEIO, you would have to specify the value. And I'm going to take out these additional ones. I create the cycle. And look, here, the magic is inside. The notes tells you, has a lot of information, how to use it. But if you go to the documentation, that's what helps you create your LCA report. These are the main sections that you need to report to do an ISO compliant LCA report, the 14044 standard related, all these things. And when you have it, you're able to export all those, put it into a Word document. And of course, these are instructions, what type of information you should add there. And you should rewrite all those things. And you can start this as a, as a starting point for your own model. Here, the only thing you can see is that it separates consumption, end of life. There is information, a lot of information in what kind of information you have to add. There's no data sets in it. And the same thing, so we have the ISO template. We have the EPD one. Look, environmental product declaration. This one, specific to Smart EPD. Smart EPD template. You're going to click next, like this. Create cycle. And look, this once again looks empty. It's full of information. If you go into review, like this, you see all the modules you need to create for an EPD, structured logically. So if you go in here, you see the A4, 5, all these things. And all you have to do is read some of the instructions if you're not clear, if you don't know what goes where, and start adding datasets. You click here and start adding your processing things. And and why this is a Smart EPD template is because we have partnership with Smart EPD. You can create digital EPDs with our integration with Smart EPD. So when you add information in the documentation here with our API, we can send the information to Smart EPD's platform and less work for you to do. So it's connected the systems. And that's something that we have now a pilot going on. So if you're interested in doing EPDs fully digitally, send me a message and we can get you started. So send a message here, hajni@earthster.org, and we can get you started. Good. So the EPD template, ISO template, and there's one more that you might like, many of you do, is the greenhouse gas protocol. Which means that if you are interested in doing, this is the one, similar style, looks empty, full of information. Look. Let me show you. Good. We go again to the review panel. You see all the different categories, the scopes, and each and one of these have information in what information you need to be added. I have added tags, so you're able to create really cool comparisons based on the labels and tags. And look, this is how it looks. Scope 3, it comes with the structure that if you want to do an LCA based on the greenhouse gas protocol, you start with this, kill everything that you don't want from it. And there's also instructions, of course, how to use it. And there is a lot of guidance, links here and there. And even like if you view these are files itself that you can check. Okay, we have 8 minutes left. So these are the new templates. Then I mentioned we have the new impact category. Really soon is coming for the ImpactWorld Plus summary categories. That might be useful for many of you. And let me check my list. What am I forgetting? Yes, there's one thing. So when the review section is now visible when we are viewing a dataset. So that might help you also see better things. And I think we do have a tiny moment to show you the educational assignments. And that I'm going to do in our demo environment because I have there some examples. Look, with the new feature that MIT sponsored, what you can do if you are teaching LCA, you're able to create assignments that your students can check their models based on what you have built. So for example, you have you tell them that, okay, create a simple toaster model. Here is your bill of materials, make it happen. And what the student does is they have their own profile, log in, model, and they are able to get a scoring based on their own model. So now I'm logged in as the teacher. For example, here's the student assignment that I have created. This is the bicycle with parameters, has a bunch of inputs, and as a new feature, it says assignments here. Here you can see that I have set this to be the assignment. So my students would be needing to give me information, give me their model like this. And here you can see that the average score of the tracks is 96. There's 7 attempts and how many students. And I would be able to even see the different students. So for example, student test, and I can see all of the variations that me as a Hajni student have been trying to do. And let me show you, I need to log in into as the student itself to be able to show you. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna, no, I think I'm not gonna do that. Or I do. We just need an incognito version because otherwise I can't be logged in at the same time in both. Good. Meanwhile, I'm doing this, trying to log in. I would love to get some questions if you have any. And let's see. No, what did I do? I'm not going to show it. We're going to have a separate webinar to do the student assignments because I'm not able to quickly log in to my student account at the moment. Good. We have about 5 minutes left. Seems like we don't have any questions. And I showed everything that I was planning on. One thing where the review panel is actually really cool to see it is when you're exploring datasets. So for example, we have here electric scooter motor production. You click to preview it, like to explore it. You click view as a cycle. When you're in view mode, the menu is different. You have different options to do. But if you click here, view, review, you see the geographies of the datasets. That sometimes makes it much easier to find what you're looking for, especially if you're exploring an eco-invent dataset that says rest of world. You see all the inputs that where are they from in an easier way than from this view. So that's something that now you're able to do, and it's a minor improvement that makes your LCA work much more enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed this session. I showed many awesome things, and if you have any questions related to them, please reach out. We can organize trainings, demos, all those things. And actually, that's one of the things that we've started lately offering is professional support on an hourly basis. So for example, if you need help with doing an EPD, reach out and we can see what we can do and what kind of help we can offer. And not only EPDs, any type of modeling. So that's not customer support. That's more about when you have LCA related questions that, I have this challenge. How do I model it? We're able to help you with that. And yeah, today no questions. That's a pity. Maybe next time. And if you come up with questions afterwards, please add them in the LinkedIn chat. Remember to tag me just in case so that I notice them and we can go through your questions afterwards. Thank you for watching and see you next time in about a month.